We good?
He's got a point. There you go. All right, everyone. Welcome into Leupold Live. I'm Nick. Thanks for joining us. We got a good show today. We're going to talk about some new products and stuff like that. First, though, I want to draw your attention to a cool contest that we're doing on the website. So we are doing a photo contest. So you can go on there, go to leupold.com /Leupold Core, right? That was right, Scott? So find Leupold Core on the website, and you can upload a photo. So your photo upload is actually your entry into the contest, and you could win a new product. Actually, it's going to be this new product that we're talking about here today, which is really cool.
That's an awesome prize.
Right?
Just stoked about that. Absolutely.
So
Totally.
you can't enter, though.
Yeah,
I can't
cool.
enter.
That's
We can't enter, unfortunately.
Cool.
So I want to welcome Zach back to the show. If you guys remember, Zach was here earlier for another show. But we've got some new product in his product line that we want to talk about, right? So for the people who don't know who you are, what's your role here at Leupold?
My name is Zach Bird. I am a product line manager, and I manage observation, so spotting scopes, binoculars, that kind of stuff, as well as accessories, and also t-shirts, hats, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, he does all the pro gear stuff too. So all this cool stuff that you guys see, which, by the way, we'll give you a little teaser, will be available to purchase rather soon.
Very soon, yes.
Right? So I know we always get comments where we're like, oh, where do you buy the hat? Where do you buy the shirt? We actually will be able to point you in the direction now where you could actually buy that shirt sometime, maybe this week, early next week. So be on the lookout for that. We'll let you guys know about that. So, but anyways, I want to talk about, we're talking about observation today, right? And Leupold, obviously, we're known for rifle scopes.
Sure.
But we make a full line of binoculars and spotting scopes. And we have for a long time, actually. Even back to the 80s, late 70s, we're making binoculars, spotting scopes. Early 90s came out with the first variable spotting scope. And that spotting scope, the folded light path, 12 to 40 by 60, that's kind of, go to a range and try not to see one of those, right?
Exactly. There's a ton of those out there in the market.
Right.
It's been a great product for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a super popular product. But just like everything else in this world, we evolve, product gets better, and we want to introduce you guys to the new SX5 Santiam HD spotting scope. I'll let you take this way because this is your baby. This is what you've been working on for a long time now.
Yep. So you alluded obviously to the Gold Ring, which is a great spotting scope.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more centered towards a hunter. Obviously, it's got a angled eyepiece, straight eyepiece version. Just a little bit different of a product. Super high quality glass, super fine focus. We really kind of had that kind of high end hunting demographic in mind when we were doing this. Bulletproof design, obviously lifetime warranty, fog-proof, waterproof, but superior optics. It's a great product, for the price, and super stoked to get it out finally. We have been working on it for a long time. So
cool. We want to talk about the first question we got. So thank you everyone for putting in your questions beforehand on Instagram there. And just a reminder too, we are fielding live questions, so type them in as you guys think of them. But obviously, the first question that comes to mind, this is a 27 to 55. Why did we do a 27 to 55?
Sure, right? A lot of times you see a 20 to 60. It's really about using the optimal part of the magnification range.
Right.
That's one reason. The second reason actually is with this optical design, we're actually able to kind of cut the footprint down. So it's a little bit shorter, it's a little bit lighter than your typical 20 to 60 by 80, 85 millimeter, that kind of stuff. So lighter, but again, it's more about using that sort of optimized part of the magnification range.
Right, finding that sweet spot, right? Because we could have bumped up the magnification, dropped down the magnification, but what are you getting at those ends?
Sure.
Is it usable?
Yep.
We were just talking before we went live here about eye fatigue. And eye fatigue is a big issue. And if you're not on your glass, you're going to miss opportunities.
I'd say it's the number one issue when using optics is, if you're behind it for an hour, 2 hours, a lot of times you get eye strain, you get a headache, that kind of stuff. We want to be able to eliminate that. That's kind of the nemesis as far as being able to sit behind an optic all day long.
You're like, oh, well, I got 60 power, I got 70 power. But how long can you actually sit behind that spotter and use it efficiently, right?
Exactly.
You're going to be off and on the glass. You're going to get eye fatigue. You might get a headache. You're not going to want to be able to use the spotter. So the key here is usability. and being able to use it in all situations for a long period of time, right?
Absolutely, and that was really kind of the main the focal point that we focused on. This is usability. I can sit behind this thing all day long, and I'm not going to get eye strain that you're going to see with sort of a lower quality product.
Yeah, the other part of that too is just like scopes. When we turn up our magnification, our exit pupil gets smaller.
Yep.
So exit pupil, for you guys that don't know, is that disc of light that's hitting your eye. And the bigger the exit pupil, the less eye strain, the easier it is to look through something, right? So by, again, not going super high magnification, the exit pupil is larger, and again, that plays into that eye fatigue.
Yeah, when you're on 60 power on a 20 to 60, the exit pupil is at its smallest. It's actually more difficult to center that on your retina and to be able to get sort of the more comfortable viewing.
Yeah.
With this, it's a little bit larger, it's easier to use, and again, that kind of plays into the whole usability and be able to be behind it for a long period of time.
Yeah, for those of you who shoot long range or PRS or anything, you might have a scope that has high magnification, and you'll notice when it's on that high mag, you get behind the stock and you might have to.
Yeah, if you vary at all, you're constantly always trying to center your eye in that.
Right. Yeah, so the eye box on this thing is really nice. I mean, this I don't know what the diameter is there, but I got to use it yesterday in the field actually, and I noticed how generous that eye box is and how forgiving it is and how easy it is to get behind the image and look through it.
Sure. And if you've ever used a VX6 HD, it's certainly known for having a very generous eye box, which basically means I can be moving around. I don't have to be so precise where my eye is.
Yeah.
We took that into consideration with designing this to be able to make sure that, again, it plays into that just overall less eye strain. It's easier to view. It's easier to look through.
Yeah. We were on this clear cut across this ravine. I think we ranged it. I think the other side was like 1,200 yards or something like that. And we didn't see any deer, unfortunately. But the guy that I was with, he was spotting squirrels and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Like running through the branches and stuff. And he's like, this thing's incredible. Like I can see squirrels at 1,200 yards away, like running through stuff. So unfortunately, no deer again. But
sure.
We got to really play with this thing out in the field, which was awesome. Talk about the focus too. We were talking a little bit about that beforehand, about maybe different spotting scopes have, how much you have to turn that focus dial to get in focus.
Sure. So this is kind of a 3/4 turn. So that means from one end of the focus range to the other, it's 3/4 of this turn. You see some products that are up to 3 complete revolutions, and that would be considered a slow focus. It really comes down to personal preference. I prefer this, what a lot of other hunters do. I'm in my focus range immediately, whereas before, or with a more revolutions, you're kind of having to turn that a lot longer in order to get there. One of the potential downsides is that you're in and out of it quickly, but using it, you're going to get the hang of it quickly, and you're going to be right where you need to be very quickly.
I found that pretty advantageous yesterday, as I didn't have to turn the focus wheel that much to get on focus, and especially when glassing down a hillside. Obviously, then that focus is going to continually change as you move, and it was just really easy, just little minimal movements of that focus wheel to keep everything nice and sharp and crisp.
Another thing you're going to notice is that if you're on 55 and you're in focus and you come all the way down to 27, you are still in focus when you come down to 27, which is nice.
That's one of the guys yesterday commented on that. He was like, I can't believe it. He was like, I was on high magnification, focused, went back down to lower magnification, and I was still focused.
Yeah.
And he was blown away by that.
And that all comes down to optical design, which some products don't. Some you come out of magnification range and you constantly have to refocus. So we concentrate on that as well.
Yeah. And now that these are shipping, they're going to be in storage. Go in and feel these things too. Go in and feel that focus. I mean, that is super smooth. The magnification is super smooth. Really well-built spotting scope.
Yeah, it really comes down to those details. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
It's a premium product. We have removable eye cup.
That is awesome.
A lot of times these fall first. They're going to hit on either end. You'll get a little bit of a ding in this, and then it doesn't want to come in and out correctly. We can either mail you a new eye cup. You can mail it in. We can reattach it for you. No problem. But really, it threads right back on, which is actually a really nice feature. This is kind of one of those main things when we get a lot of product back, it's almost always for an eye cup issue.
Yeah, there's eye cup issues, or for me, I find for maintenance. So you can take the eye cup off and you can get it really clean in there. I mean, that's one of the things that gets gummed up the most is right the eye cups.
Yep, and again, that's all the way through all the way through our complete collection of binoculars.
Yeah,
the eye cups are removable for that purpose.
I think that goes into play. You know, I'm going to give you props here. I mean, how long have you taken over the observation side of the product here? Now it's been a couple of years now.
A little over a year, actually. Yeah.
So, and Zach is a avid hunter. He's out there all the time hunting, using this stuff, and those kind of little tweaks and thoughts, I think, come from actually using the product in the field, right? And you're like, man, I got a bunch of dust now in my eye cup. How do I design something that, well, just we removable eye cups, and now you can get the dust out of there, or if you ding it again, we can send you new eye cups. It's the little things that make these products super usable in the field and just really well thought out. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let's run on one of the other cool features too that I didn't know about till I got my hands on it. And again, a small thing, but for the tripod adapter, it's actually indexed. So you feel these little detents and clicks, right? So maybe I have the angled version, but for whatever reason, you know, I'm on a slope or something, I can't get it to the right height, you know, I'll knock it down to the 90, and I know exactly where 90 is.
Yeah, a lot of guys, that'll come in handy if you're using it on a window mount in your truck, something like that. I can turn it this direction. You know, if you're using it on a bench, a lot of guys that are shooting, you know, at the range, that kind of stuff, you can really kind of, obviously you have the variability with your tripod, but then that also gives you the option to be able to change that.
I don't know why I got super excited about the detail when I felt it. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then, of course, we got a integrated eye shade or lens shade in there too, right? Which is really nice. We were talking about this yesterday in the field. We call these sun shades. But
a rain shade here in the Northwest.
Right.
Not a lot of sun, way more rain.
So even on scopes, right? One of the guys was talking about, just so a little pro tip, you know, if it's raining out and the weather's pretty, you know, inclement, so just put your sunshade on your scope, and now you protect it more from the moisture coming in. Same idea here. Little tip there. Something I never really thought about.
Yeah, it's definitely huge here in the Northwest, and obviously, you know, out there hunting, keeping the elements off of your lens.
We're gonna start marking those as extreme condition shades. That sounds good.
I'll let you marketing guys take care of that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we'll take all the credit for that. And then we do have a straight version too, so not just the angled, but we got the straight version too.
Yeah, so a couple of differences. One of the nice features about an angled eyepiece is I can actually have a smaller tripod as far as length. So obviously I can look down through it. You can have multiple people using it at once. With the straight, it's a little easier to find your target, so target acquisition. Obviously being straight, you're gonna look right down the top of it, you're gonna be on it. It's not difficult once you start to use. If you're moving from a straight to an angled, it doesn't take long to kind of just get the hang of it, but you are obviously looking down at a 45-degree angle and then forward. You can look down the side of it if there's any issues, but it's really something that's you pick up quite easily. Yeah,
cool. And then accessories too. So obviously they come with caps. This neoprene cover is really cool too.
So it comes with a super sturdy, thick objective cover as well as an ocular cover here. And then also we throw in this nice neoprene case, which is nice and tight fitting. You can run it if you don't, if you want it, or if you don't, it's going to be there included anyway. So.
We were commenting yesterday, not to. The 12 to 40 by 60 gold ring spawning scope is a great spawning scope, but the case is always so hard to get on.
Yeah, you're gonna put it on one. I mean, honestly, this is like putting a sock on.
I was like, we put this on. We're like, that was so easy.
Yeah, it's difficult. Once you're probably gonna want to keep it on once you get it on.
You probably are. Yeah. And then this tripod too. We were talking about the tripod. We make a full line of equipment too to kind of go together with a lot of this observation stuff. And this tripod, I think that's something that no one really knows about.
Yeah, this is our compact table tripod. Obviously, you know, super sturdy, good ball head on it. We have a full-size carbon which is off the screen here, but a carbon fiber tripod as well as an aluminum. You know, that's going to go up to a full-size tripod, as well as a window mount. All this stuff sitting over here. Window mount, and then your traditional sort of tripod adapter that's going to go into your 1/4 thread. I have seen a few times recently on forums where people are concerned about the Santiam, the 15 by 56. They all have a 1/4 thread, and it's actually in this back hinge here. And the reason for that is that it's a heavy binocular. It's something you're going to want to use on a tripod. If we put it on the front, you're going to get a ton of weight in the back, and it's in the back hinge, which on every other bino that we carry, they all have a 1/4-20 thread adapter. They're all on this front hinge here, and they're just hidden behind that. So
gotcha.
I just want to make sure that people understand that and are aware of that.
Gotcha. So it's just a balance thing.
Sure. And it also comes, this particular product comes with a tripod, a tray. So it's a tripod and it has a elastic strap. It's not meant to be the end-all be-all as far as mounting it. It's just something that you can get it mounted out of the box and you can use it. I would definitely, if you're going to be a really avid user of that, I'd probably look for more of a sturdy tripod adapter, which we also carry.
Cool, yeah. So go on the website there. You guys can see all the different equipment and tripods and all the stuff that we have to really maximize these products and get the most out of them, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Actually, here, Mike, you wanna hand us the? We'll show you the tripod. This is one of my favorite tripods too. So carbon fiber legs, super light. You got some magnesium elements too to keep the weight down. Nice head on there. Everything that you need it to do, right?
Yep.
Super packable too. I don't know what the total weight is on this bad boy, but I mean, this is made for taking in the backcountry and packing.
Yeah, it's definitely a high end. I mean, it's a premium tripod. It's a really good tool for that.
Yeah. So again, go on the website, check out all that good stuff. We'll throw this off camera here. Boom. All right. Cool. So let's get to some of your questions. And let's see, C-Long31. Is there a phone scope adapter for it?
There will be. I'm actually working with Phone Scope now. They've got it. They're designing one right now, so I would say here within maybe a month or two, they should be out for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. And to that end, also R2 lane, is there a DSLR attachment?
You know, with as much as you can do with a cell phone today, I think the DSLR market is
dwindling a little bit.
It's much smaller than it used to be. I mean, I wouldn't envision certainly, you know, there's some aftermarket stuff that you could use for that, but the phone scope, the sort of digiscoping adapters that you're going to use your phone are definitely going to be the way to go on this.
Yeah, cool.
You know, a quick note, phones obviously change all the time, and I have a few older adapters that were like custom made for an iPhone 6, something like that.
Yeah, specific models.
Yeah,
right?
so quick just tip out there, if you don't have to turn your phone in, what I do actually, I keep my old phone. Once I connect to Wi-Fi, I can upload any picture. So I just have an old iPhone 6 that I don't use anymore. But when I'm out and when I'm hunting, it's actually my digiscoping phone. So a lot of people have a phone laying around. If you have one and you have an old adapter to it, it makes sense to hold on to that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the good idea. Yeah, just keep it in your kit, right? And then you always have a phone that you can use on your scope. Cool idea. Oh, we had a question here. Justin wants to know, is the table tripod carbon fiber or not?
It's not. It's aluminum.
It's aluminum. But it's still super light. I mean, even with that scope on there. So
most of the reason you see a full-size or larger tripods going to carbon fiber is to cut weight. And so on something that's small in stature like this, this almost needs to be more stout.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Ryan Dean White, how does it compare to the Goldring HD, and what are the main differences?
Great question. Yep. As I alluded to at the start of the show, it's a much different product. Actually, I got one here.
Yeah.
The Goldring, which we've had on for a long time, it's actually folded light path, which coincidentally is the same system that we use in a rifle scope. So what that allows you to do is throw a reticle in it, which obviously is great for military and tactical
right. So by the way, this is the black ring one. This is the tactical one, but it's the same kind of thing as the gold ring one. Just has a reticle in it, right? A milled reticle.
Exactly. So you have a completely different, obviously, optical design and construction of this. You know, a feature of this is it's packable. It's lightweight. This actually goes in your backpack a little bit easier than these traditional ones. But I mean, this has been around forever. It's a lot, like I said, a lot of military. We sell these all over the world. Most federal or government agencies here use this spotting scope. Mm-hmm. It's just a bit of a different market. We do offer the regular gold rings without the reticle. This particular product really kind of fills a niche that we didn't have in something before, which is that high-end sort of traditional angled straight spotting scope, mainly centered towards hunting and sort of observation. Yeah. Whereas this obviously kind of tails in a lot more to that tactical military type.
Yeah, I would suspect that you're going to start seeing these at shooting ranges and stuff like
sure,
that.
Yeah.
People are going to start using them for that. But the packability of this thing is almost unparalleled.
Sure.
I mean, how light and packable it is. So it's kind of an apples to oranges situation. You got to have the right tool for the job, right?
Yep.
And this may not be best for every situation. This may not be best for every situation, but that's why, again, you're doing a great job of filling out that line to make sure that consumers have a choice, of getting again the right tool for the job.
Yeah, and as far as you look at competitive product, there's not very many full to life spotting scopes out there.
It's hard to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So great question. I like this name. Would you like Chorizo wants to know how heavy the SX5 is.
Sorry, I'm getting flagged from behind the camera.
Yeah, Scott's like when he's like, hey, organize your stuff so people can actually see things. There you go.
Good.
We're good?
Good.
All right.
What was the question? How heavy is it?
Yeah, how heavy
it is 68 ounces, which is just over 4 pounds.
Okay, cool. And that goes back to the first question we tackled. The Y27 to 55 actually enables us to make a more compact scope.
Sure, and again, just being centered around the hunting market. If you're out using this hunting, you're going to be packing it with you daily. You're going to want it to be as small and as compact as possible. So another benefit of obviously having that magnification range.
Optimized. Let's see. Price point. Oh, just getting to the good stuff here. Lavador 96.
So street price on these is $1,799, so $1,800.
Yep. So again, the high, it's a premium scope, right? So we're filling out that line. We do have some more, less expensive options too.
Sure.
But this thing performs, again, getting to use it yesterday in the field, absolutely worth every penny there. Is Dustin 304 wants to know, is the outer construction aluminum or plastic?
Good question. It's actually a mix of, we always call it polycarbonate, which is a fancy word for plastic. Just glass-filled polycarbonate, which means there's actually fiberglass inlaid with it to make it stronger. There are certain components on there, the prism housing, some other things on here that are made out of aluminum for longevity, and obviously for good construction. But yeah, it's kind of a mix of plastic and aluminum.
Right, the right material for the right application on the product.
There's always trade-offs there. Obviously, you're always trying to conserve weight. So wherever, if you have an area that's less resistant to fatigue or failure, obviously you can usually use those in polycarbonate.
Right. I can't believe we glossed over this. I got so excited about all the features and like the outer parts of the scope. So this has our Twilight Max HD light management system too,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So the whole point of that is letting you see more and less light. These are guaranteed to perform in those real low light situations, right, where spotting becomes really critical. That's you hunt a lot. That's when animals start moving around, right?
It's absolutely critical. Yeah. Those last whether it be 20, 30 minutes of light, I mean that's generally when animals are moving statistically. So obviously you want your optic to be performing as well as possible in that. Also we have we use our Diamond Coat too, abrasion like resistance, which scratch resistance, that kind of stuff, as well as our Guardian, which is sort of an element resistance, so water, fingerprints, that kind of stuff. And then I don't know if you touched on it with the Twilight Max, is also the glare reduction.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of a twofold there. We want all the light that's coming in here to be usable.
Yeah.
We don't think anything bouncing around there taking away from the optical quality. So the Twilight Max really helps with the glare as well.
Yeah, I mean you can take in, and the same thing we've talked about with scopes. You can take in a bunch of light, but it's about what you do with it when it's inside the scope.
Yep.
And how do you make that usable again to the human eye, and having that resolution and clarity, and being able to distinguish. Is that an antler, or is that a branch, or super low light conditions? This thing yesterday when we were up using it, it got super dark and foggy all of a sudden. I just threw my pen for no reason. Super dark and foggy, and I was surprised at how much detail. Like we were kind of bored and just waiting out the rain, so we were using this and just trying to spot up in this really dark ridge line, and you'd be amazed at how much detail you can actually see.
Sure.
More than your human eye. I mean, you look with your human eye and you can't see in there, and you look with this and you're like, wow, I can look 10, 15 feet into that tree line and see stuff in there.
Which coincidentally, I mean, a lot of time when you're hunting, and especially with inclement weather, deer will also bed on the tree line like that. For A, they can see around them, and B, they don't want to be in the deep timber when it's nasty like that. Things are moving around, they can't hear, they can't see well.
Feel exposed.
So that's where you want to be looking. So
yeah, good stuff. All right, Alpha Wilkes, what color does it come in?
Shadow gray.
Shadow gray.
Yeah, currently shadow gray is what we offered in.
So we're always looking at other options too, but shadow gray is kind of our standard color now that we've moved to for our binocular line and spotting scope line. I really like it. It kind of goes with everything. It doesn't just look like another black, piece of kit that you might have.
Sure. And as you can see that we've obviously here in the last 2 years kind of revamped our binocular line. So this kind of falls in line with that general aesthetic.
Yep. Bushy Hill Guide and Mission 22 shooting teams. Shout out to Mission 22. You guys do awesome stuff. Is it available with an MOA or a Milrad reticle?
Great question. Again, on the folded light path, I'm using an erector system, which is what allows us to throw a reticle in there. It works just like a rifle scope. With this design, basically with a variable zoom, it's difficult to be able to have what you're looking at, the object that you're looking at, as well as your reticle in focus. So it presents a lot of issues with that. So
gotcha.
I wouldn't, if you need a reticle, I would definitely stick with the Mark IV.
Yep, for sure. That's the application that is best suited for. How about let's see. Is the RW Rosier, is the scope going to be available in 65mm variants?
Not currently.
Yep.
Yeah, right now the 80 is what we're offering at this
point. It just came out. You gotta give stuff. We're always looking at innovating and doing, different stuff too. So who knows down the road.
I will tell you that I am always working on products, and you very soon will be seeing some additional spotting scope products in a 65mm.
Little teaser. All right, that's good. And we are kind of covered this. Any additional, covers available in camo. Oh, covers available in camo. They're not talking about the armor, but different.
Who asked that? That's a good question.
Brushy Hill Guide. Sorry, Brushy Hill Guide.
You have a Bushy Hill Guide and a Brushy Hill Guide? That's a great question. Actually, I would look into that. I actually think that would be pretty cool if you could throw a different camouflage cover on that.
So DM us. If we end up making one, we'll send one to you for that idea.
We'll give you kudos for that.
We'll give you kudos for that one. That's awesome. Yep. We already talked about that. Okay, well, let's talk about, so we talked a lot about the SX5 Santiam HD, but some of you may not know that we also have binoculars too in that same line that we came out with. We came out with the 15 powers, right?
Yep.
Year ago?
A little over a year ago.
A little over a year ago. But now we have 10x42 and 12x50 versions.
So we have 8 and 1042, and we have a 10 and 1250 version of these. Yeah, so these are all available now. They're all shipping. They should all be at a retailer. So kind of just building on the Santiam family. The 15x56 came out first. It's been out in the market for a while. It's a great product. It's a little bit, it's a niche product. It's guys that are, koozie hunting. If you're looking, especially in the Western United States, if you need to be looking at long distances, a really nice thing, honestly, about that is that, using two eyes is preferable in a lot of situations. If you don't need the high magnification of a spotting scope and you can get away with using a binocular, I would prefer just about any time I can, if I can use a binocular, I will, just because closing one eye presents issues with your neck, sometimes using that kind of stuff. There's always a place. I'm not saying I use spotting scopes a lot, but if I can get away with it, this is a great product for that. But yeah, as Nick mentioned, these range anywhere from about $1,150 starting at the 8 and 1042s, and they go all the way up to $1,450 for the camo versions of the 15x56.
Right, and the 15x56, we used a couple of these in a shooting competition, PRS style competition. You have to carry all your stuff on you, and you may not want to carry a big spotting scope. So carrying a high-powered pair of binoculars is really advantageous, right? Because we're not looking for, obviously you're being precise and you're basically looking to spot targets, and then you're going to look through your scope and then shoot. And make corrections from looking through the scope. So actually having a pair of binoculars like this was super good.
Sure, and I mean, just to kind of build on that point, target acquisition with a pair of binoculars is much quicker than it is on any spotting scope. Your field of view is much wider. I'm going to be able to pick up the target much quicker with that.
Right.
And obviously with a 15 power, you're still getting the amount of magnification that you need to be able to reach out.
We were talking about that the other day about like what order do you use these in? We have all this gear, right, and all these observation things. So how do you use them in the field to maximize what you're doing. And obviously, for me at least, and I guess it comes down a little bit of personal preference too.
Sure.
But I'm going to glass first with a pair of binoculars.
Sure.
Because my field of view is so much wider, I can cover a lot more ground. But if I see something, I want to be able to dial in on it with a spotting scope. Right?
Sure. So, I mean, I always try to come equipped with both, just to kind of give you some. Basically, what I do if I'm going to come up, like say you're in the Pacific Northwest, I'm going to come up to a clear cut. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scan without anything, just to make sure there's no obvious animals in the near.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably do just a quick scan with whatever binocular, whether it's a 10 or 1250 or I generally just roll the 1042.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do kind of a quick grid where I'll just check out kind of each portion, and then if it's a large clear cut and it's something that I know there's animals in and I've seen them there before, I'll do that, and then I'll either break out a spotting scope and I'll have it next to me, and I'll either bump up to a 15 by 56 and kind of do a more detailed gridding. And then if I see something or I need a better look, I can always jump on the spotting scope. Another thing is that obviously rifle scopes are very important, and every piece of your kit, from your gun to your clothing, all that kind of stuff is important. I think one thing that people tend to kind of save, if you're saving money, or I understand these products are very expensive. I spend 99% of my time behind my binoculars or spotting scope. If you think about it, you got to find the animals, right? These are your main tools for finding the animals. The amount of time that I actually spend behind my scope, minimal. Obviously it needs to work, it needs to be quality, all that kind of stuff, but these are paramount when it comes to just being, the part of my kit that I rely on the most. Hands down binoculars. Secondly, probably boots, because obviously. Oh
man, if your feet are in trouble, you are not having a good day.
You need quality equipment everywhere you go, and honestly, that's when a quality tripod, comes into play. A lot of guys. Tripods are expensive. I'm the first to admit that. They're not cheap, but a quality tripod and a quality system that you can set up to glass with, where that you want to be comfortable, you don't want to be straining your neck, you want to be able to be comfortable behind the glass. All those things honestly transition to success in the field. If you're not able to look through your binos because you don't have a tripod or you have something else going on, it kind of takes away from the whole experience. And you want to be able to be comfortable, and you want to be able to use the product to its full extent. Yeah,
that's a great point. And I would encourage you, when you're making purchasing decisions like that, it's really easy to take a pair of binoculars or a spotting scope and throw them up to your eye and be like, oh, those are really clear. Oh, those are great. But are you really using them like you're going to be using them in the field?
It's very difficult to do a good assessment of a binocular in fluorescent light in a store.
Lighting like this is not very good for looking at optical prescriptions. So we've said that time again. If you have the chance, please go outside and use them there. But for a binocular, use them for an extended period of time. Throw them up to your eye and spend 5 minutes looking through them.
Yep.
Are your eyes going to be, are you going to get that eye fatigue? Does it hurt? Pan, look up and down. That grid pattern that you were talking about, in a hunting situation. Are the binoculars causing any kind of distortion or anything like that? That again is going to play into your eye fatigue. And really put them through the paces, right? We encourage you to do that because we know that our lineup of products perform extremely well. And you're going to see the difference when you do those tests.
Yeah, and some of the things, when you're talking about a higher quality binocular, let's say that I'm doing a grid system and I'm going to have these on a tripod. Let's say I'm looking out 300 yards, right, and I can see, obviously so much. I'm not moving the binoculars on that grid. I will get it set, and I will literally take my eye and I will go everything that I can see in my field of view without using that. On some more affordable, or say some lower quality binoculars, a lot of times you get fringing on the edges. You get some distortion. A lot of times, sort of the hallmark of a lower end binocular is it's the center and the resolution is really good in the middle, but as soon as you get outside of that, you sort of lose resolution, and that kind of makes it impossible for you to grid. So, I know they're expensive, but they are a very important part of your kit, and being able to see the entire field of view. And a crystal clear image will allow you to do a gridding like that, and honestly just is going to definitely up your success.
Cool. So a couple more questions rolled here. David Gonzalez wants to know when Leupold's putting out range-finding binoculars. Be patient. They're So, and that goes back, I say this every time, right, is we're not going to introduce something until it is Leupold quality. And you guys know what Leupold quality is. This spotting scope just didn't happen overnight, right? We spent a lot of time, different iterations, going back and forth to get it right. So again, be patient. But when we do something, it's going to be awesome.
Good question. I get it daily.
Yep, you get it daily. Let's see. Todd Emiston says, "Hey Nick, any plans for image stabilized binoculars?" Have you thought about that?
Good question. Can't answer it fully, but I think
again,
my canned response is we're always innovating and we're always working on new products.
He knows the canned response off the top of his head. Let's see. Oh, that's the other thing too. I must be half asleep today. I think you mentioned it, but the lifetime guarantee, the guaranteed performance, right?
Sure.
That all these binoculars, spotting scopes, all the observation products have that lifetime guarantee.
Sure, and I mean, it's something that we've had. We've had that warranty forever, like since the start of the company.
People always think that we're like, oh, well, they're just copying what other people have done. It's like, we actually started.
Yeah, I would
it.
challenge anybody to say that we didn't come out with it first. And honestly, just it's not something that is the first thing that's out of our mouth. I think a lot of people talk about warranty and that kind of stuff. I can tell you that if you're out, if you just got a tag of a lifetime and you're out, 3 miles off a trail and your optics fail you, UPS doesn't deliver out in the woods. So we it's always there. We will replace the product. We'll fix it. We'll do whatever we got to do to make it right for the customer. We've always done that. However, it's not a selling feature of our products. I mean, yes, they're warranted, but we like the products to obviously speak for itself. We warranty them for life. Therefore, we build them in a manner that we hopefully don't want them to come back, obviously. So we kind of put that into the front end, and the warranty is nice, it's there, but it's not something that we are, always super eager to talk about.
The performance and durability really are the focus, and that's the guarantee for you that they're gonna be rugged and durable in the field and perform, obviously, the performance. On that note,
but they are covered with a full.
But they are covered with a full lifetime warranty. Sean Phillips asked, do the binos have a magnesium housing? So that changes between the different models, right?
Yeah, sure. These actually are polycarbonate. There are some areas that we actually use some aluminum pieces, but the majority of the housing is polycarbonate. And again, that's to save on weight. We've been using polycarbonate in a lot of binoculars out there made out of polycarbonate material. So again, it's glass filled, which means it has fiberglass in it, which means it's much stronger than your normal plastic.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we rolled through all the questions there. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and throwing out some great questions. And thanks, Zach, for coming back on and talking about the awesome new spotter that we have, and then all the other binoculars, right, that we have in the line there. And just to make sure that you guys know, again, about that photo contest, you can win one of these SX5 HDs, Santiam HDs. Just upload a photo, and that's your entry. So easy. Also, go to Leupold.com, sign up for the Core Insider newsletter. Make sure you sign up for that. So when you're signed up for that and these come out, you'll be the first to know, right? I think we had an email come out last week that had those in it. So you can tell all your friends, right?
So all of these are out. They've all shipped. They should all be at retailers. So if you don't see one on the, ask your local retailer, see if they can get something in. But they're all available now. So
awesome. All right, cool. Well, thanks again for coming by.
Appreciate it.
Until next time, guys. We'll see you.